What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Geek Alley Gaming and another Let's Talk. This one is going to be about Project Octopath Traveler, the demo that came out on the Nintendo Switch back on September 13th. And I meant to do this a while back, so I do apologize, but real life kind of got in the way of that. But I wanted to take a look at it because this is one of those Square Enix JRPGs that I grew up loving the style of it anyway. And it's a turn-based RPG, and it's I think the thing that stands out to me most about this particular game is the visual style, the art style of it. They call it uh, HD 2D, and it's actually really it actually works with how the game plays and the story. At first, looking at stills, it doesn't really do it justice, but when you look at it in game, it actually makes sense and it actually works from that perspective. And in the demo itself, we have two particular characters that we get to play as. We don't get to play as everybody, but we do have two particular characters we get to play as: Olbrick the Knight and Primrose the Dancer. And Olbrick's story, his path is very traditional JRPG, soldier, warrior, knight, betrayed by his friend or best friend, and now he's living in his in a new village, just trying to lay low or whatever, until he gets the urge to find the person who betrayed him. And it's a very straightforward path in that you're in the village, you're teaching everybody how to defend themselves, and with him, it's bandits that he has to fight. So one thing leads to another, and that's how he finds out about the guy who betrayed him still being alive. And I actually enjoyed that one. I thought it was actually done pretty well. But once again, it's not cliched. I don't want to call it cliched, but I do want to say that it's one of the more traditional stories. Now, the thing about Olbrick, and you found this out in the direct that Nintendo had, is that one of his special things is that he can challenge pretty much anybody to a fight. So any NPC he can challenge. Well, almost every NPC he can challenge, and that's a good way for you to like get experience in the game, because to me, playing the game, you had to be at least around about level 4 or 5 to be successful against the bosses that you had to fight in at the end of each particular path. uh, Especially for Olbrick, I was at around level 5, and it just made the fight a whole lot easier. Also, the combat is more of a random feel, so you don't have like in some RPGs now you'll see enemies coming around, walking around or whatever. Not in this. This is strictly old school. It's random. You'll just be running around and boom, you're in the middle of a fight. So keep that in mind. Now the next path that I want to talk about is Primrose. Now Primrose, the dancer, her path is decidedly dark. It's not one of those like I want to say cliched or traditional paths. It's one of those that there's a lot of implied stuff that went on in her story, and her story starts out pretty bad. Like basically three disguised men. The only thing she could see on them were their tattoos, which were of crows, and they pretty much you know killed her dad, and she basically has been on looking for those men ever since. So that's how you come to find her, and her story deals with pretty much beatings, uh, implied rape, implied sexual assault. And the reason why I say implied, because the guy who they work for as dancers, when you see what he says and what he does, you're like, yeah, dude was pimping them out, and it's heavily implied. So that's why I said her story is decidedly, her path is decidedly dark, but her path at the end of it is way more satisfactory in my opinion, because yeah, Buddy gets what's coming to him, and I enjoyed every minute of that. So out of the two paths, I actually enjoyed Primrose's path a little bit more, and I think that's the actual thing that made me want to get this game. It went from being that looks kind of interesting to I need to get this day one. I can't. I'm hoping that we get a release date soon because I really want to see how this all plays out, how each of the character stories play into one another. Because after you beat a path, after you finish a particular character's path, and both paths last around an hour completely. I'd say Ulbricht's path is a little bit longer. The first time I did it, took me like an hour and 10 with him. With Primrose, it took me about 55 minutes with her when I first did it. And each of those paths, after you beat those paths, you can actually go to the other area and recruit the other characters. So if you play with Ulbricht first, you can go around and go to Sunshade and recruit Primrose, and you'll see how the gameplay takes place there when you actually have somebody in your party. And there are also, like, I want to say 3 or 4 side quests that's in there that I found. Well, two that I found. No, three. It's three of them. You find one in Sunshade, one in Cobblestone, and there's another one. But I found those. I don't know if there's any more side quests, but there are some side quests in there if you want to keep going. But I enjoyed it. I am looking forward to Octopath Traveler. I'm hoping we get a release date soon. Oh, also, voice acting, and music is top notch. I enjoyed it. I liked it, especially the Sunshade Desert theme. I love that theme. But other than that, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to picking this up as soon as it releases. I will be getting this one on the Switch. So that's it for this Let's Talk. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Octopath Traveler? Have you played the demo? Did you enjoy it? And are you picking this game up? And what are you looking forward to in this game? Thanks again. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.
Come, Primrose. Won't you dance one last dance for me?
Quite the dancer yourself in the end.